Six Flags Qiddiya is going to be one of the world's greatest amusement parks when it opens to the public, hopefully in the year 2026. This massive park will feature multiple world record-breaking coasters when it opens, including the world's tallest, fastest, and longest coaster, among other large-scale additions. In this video, we will break down all of the additions to Saudi Arabia's huge new park. First, I would like to mention that this actually isn't a real Six Flags in the sense that it isn't owned by the chain at all, and is instead being funded, built, operated, and managed by the government of Saudi Arabia. Six Flags is only licensing their name for brand recognition, and I believe they will also offer some level of consulting services to the park. But overall, this is mostly a park independent of Six Flags. Now let's dive into the coasters being built at this park. The first coaster we will be breaking down is Iron Rattler, which is going to be a 208-foot tall, 5-inversion Vekoma tilt coaster. It should be the second modern tilt coaster in the world when it opens, after Circuit Breaker at Codaland in Texas. And let me just tell you, this thing is going to be epic, as this layout looks insane. No one is talking about this coaster because of Falcon's flight, but I think Iron Rattler deserves more attention than it is currently getting. Of course, the layout starts off with a completely vertical 208-foot drop after the track pivots from its initial orientation and then locks into place for the vertical drop. Then the first inversion right after the drop is a drawn-out Immelman, which will give great hang time. This will be followed by some airtime moments in quick transitions, with the next inversion being a double 0G roll, sort of like the flying snake dive on Storm Runner at Hershey Park. Except on the second inversion, the train will roll all the way through instead of diving towards the ground. This will be a very disorienting element as the train will whip through these two rolls. Then the train will navigate a quick airtime hill and high off the ground turn before traversing what RCDB is calling a barrel roll down drop. From the concepts, it doesn't look like there will be that much height lost on this element, but it still looks like a moment with a lot of potential and with some strong whip and forces. Then the rest of Iron Rattler's layout will be a mix of airtime moments and quick transitions, as well as turns delivering a mix of forces with one last 0G roll sprinkled in as well. I am very impressed by what I am seeing from the concepts produced so far. This coaster looks to have very strong pacing and elements, with 5 inversions but still a variety of airtime, including some small off-axis airtime moments. It really looks like Vekoma could have a winner with Iron Rattler. Another large-scale addition at this park will be Spitfire, a massive Intamin swing launch coaster featuring the highest inversion in the world. This coaster will basically be like a smaller Top Thrill 2, except the top hat is a 240-foot tall inverted top hat, sort of like the Mr. Freeze clones, thus giving it the highest inversion in the world. Also, at the end of the layout, there looks to be a very strong airtime pop, perhaps like the one at the end of Red Force at Ferrari Land. While this coaster obviously doesn't have the most inspired layout, it will definitely still pack a punch, and I think it is really intriguing. Plus, it brings another world record to the park. The only wooden coaster at Qiddiya is going to be called Colossus, and it will be a GCI hybrid coaster, containing both wood and their steel Titan track. I assume in a similar style to Zambezi Zinger at Worlds of Fun. However, we don't exactly know the layout yet. But since Colossus is supposed to have the exact same stats in terms of height and length as Apocalypse at Six Flags Magic Mountain, we can assume that the layout will be pretty similar to that coaster. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all, as Apocalypse is a fairly strong wooden coaster. Next we have Sea Stallion, which is a Maurer Rides spike coaster. This is a fairly unique model, and is definitely geared more towards families. I believe riders are also able to control their own speed on this type of coaster. This park will also feature a Zamperla family coaster called Twilight Express and Adrenaline, a Vekoma family suspended coaster, which is the same model as Dragonflyer at Dollywood. As far as family coasters go, that is one of the better models in my opinion, and this installation is supposed to be the biggest of the model yet. The penultimate coaster of this analysis is Sawmill Falls, which will be a Mock Rides water coaster. Again, I think this is a decent model, and I hear that Sawmill Falls will be similar to Poseidon at Europa Park, so if you are a fan of water coasters at all, then you would most likely enjoy Sawmill Falls. I also think it is smart to have a water coaster at this park given its location in the hot desert of Saudi Arabia, and they will probably have one of the better water coasters you'll ever find with Sawmill Falls. And finally, we have Falcon's Flight. This coaster is straight out of a video game. Falcon's Flight will be the tallest, longest, and fastest roller coaster in the world when it opens. There's nothing I can say about this massive Intamin exit coaster that hasn't been said already. It looks like it will be an incredible experience, showcasing a ridiculous sense of speed, diving off a huge cliff in just a ridiculously long track length. I think everyone is just hoping that it gives some airtime in addition to all of that. And I'm also sadly going to predict that uptime will be an issue with this attraction, at least at first. It is absolutely unprecedented in size and scale. There are a really large amount of LSM fins and not necessarily in a very accessible location either. Plus, every part of this coaster's trains, most especially the wheels, will be under a large level of stress because of the ridiculous speed. But I hope it ends up being a success. Innovation is great, and this is one of the most innovative and daring coasters ever attempted. And that will do it for this video about the coasters being built at Six Flags Qiddiya. If you have any other thoughts on these coasters or think we left something out, let us know in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.